before we get started, let me just go ahead and say and subscribe if you already have it. If you're watching, thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Now, the most interesting thing about this whole entire situation with Ms. Dank Dumas is making me realize more and more this is a money grab than anything else. A rapper that not too many people have heard of in the mainstream is now going to the Breakfast Club to try to spread her message of, essentially it sounds like, acceptance and body positivity. It's a very similar message to what Lizzo had at one point in time. If you think about it, Lizzo, a very talented singer and performer and instrument player, because she could play the flute. And Lizzo was a very, let's just say, an obese woman at one point in time. And she had garnered a lot of attention for her weight and the way she dressed, and pretty much being a seductress when the general public really didn't find her that way. However, though, what you notice of Lizzo, even though she spoke all that body positivity and acceptance and everything else, she started working on herself, and she's been working out. And Lizzo today does not look like Lizzo of 2 years ago. And I'm happy for her. She's doing the work, and she seems like she's doing it in the right way. She doesn't appear to be a woman that's in a join the Ozempic trend. Now, you transition that into a woman named Dank Dumas. And if you're not familiar with her, she's a woman that sat here and is suing Lyft because a Lyft driver put the safety and well-being of themselves and his vehicle over her personal feelings. And I kind of feel like that we put the personal feelings aside for people, for unnecessary things back in 2020. Now, I realized during the C-19 era that a lot of people was overly sensitive, overly emotional, because we was all trapped inside, and we just weren't used to interacting, and we became a lot more empathetic because our own situation was not the best at that particular time. Everybody was under lock and key for the most part. But now, you would think that more people are more of the line of, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Why are we giving this attention? And here, let me go ahead and give y'all a reminder to play the news clip that originally came out a while ago.
Jib Landing tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
Believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe it.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver.
And you know, the tires was not a bad reasoning. If you are an adult male and you still ride a bicycle, if your tires are not inflated good enough, you won't go anywhere. I think I told a story before. I'm sure if I told a story, but I'll go ahead and tell it now. Back in the days of when internet dating was a thing, I guess it still is now, when it was more new back then. I went on a date with a woman. I think the website was Plenty of Fish at the time. This is a long time ago. And you know how people used to have angles, right? That was a really big thing back in the day. A woman will always try to get the right angle to make sure she looked thinner or show a curvature she didn't necessarily have. It was really before the era of everybody photoshopping their pictures. Is them trying to get the right angle. Well, I saw a woman on there that I thought was attractive and curving because she knew how to take the right angle pictures. Well, when I ended up going to get her and pick her up, she was really huge, about the size of Miss Dank. And to be honest with you, she could barely get into the passenger side of my car. Now, me being a person I just didn't want to drive off because I felt like I'd been like a very jerk thing to do. But yeah, and then I remember trying to drive and go over speed bumps, and I had to give extra force and acceleration to get over the speed bump with our combined weight. It had to be more than 700 pounds in that car. And I say that is because that this man is on his car, has multiple people in his car on a daily basis. She literally weighs weighs the amount of about 2 to 3 females, if you really be honest with you, that will normally pack out his car. So whenever he turned that down, he got to think about, I got to have more rides. I don't know how much wear and tear is going to put on my car. If you hear his engine in the background, all the knocking, I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound good. I can understand him turning her down and doing it in a respectful way. So him turning her down because something she did to herself and her feelings got hurt, supposed to be a tough Detroit rapper, it doesn't make any sense how this is getting this as much attention as it is. And what's interesting about a part of it is that not too many people are taking her side. They're all kind of criticism. Even women who are larger, on a larger side, they're just kind of like, well, you should know better. And even other pictures and videos, I saw a video of her in the back of a van, and she actually took the whole space of the back of the van. I saw her trying to get out of SUVs, and she was kind of a struggle there. It's very unrealistic. And even when she was on a Breakfast Club, I'll play a few clips over there, she said in her head she's skinny, and that's a very dangerous way of thinking. And I also told another story about that too, how, well, I'll save that story for later, but I'm just going to continue with this though.
Said his tires could not handle her weight.
So every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL.
You know what? I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough.
I get the money and put the hit makes my food.
Dank DeMassa, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, it really hurt my feelings.
It looks like Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car, or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
The lawsuit is filed. Since she posted the encounter on social media, other full-figured folks have reached out saying the same thing happened to them.
And you know, that's the thing about that. I really do feel like that. Well, for one, that lawyer seems very slimy and grimy. And two, Michigan weight is covered under the same thing when it comes to race and religion. It's one of the most, well, I'll just say it, dumbass things I've ever heard before in my life. It's a safety issue. There's a reason why whenever you're on a plane, if you're probably her size, more than likely if your size, you gotta buy 2 seats. They don't accommodate things for everybody just because you don't want to feel insecure. Or let's say if you don't need 2 seats, you can fit in 1 seat, but you can't properly put on the seatbelt in a secure safety manner. And a lot of airplanes, they may have seatbelt extenders. A Lyft is not going to have that. So you mean to tell me in that small car, she's able to get in there comfortably, and then she'll be able to buckle herself up? And let's say she didn't buckle herself up and something was to happen, who will be liable then? Will it be Lyft? And most likely be that driver. And this is just things like this when we support things so much because everybody wants to be accepted and feel special. It doesn't make any sense to me. Not everybody is meant to be special and put into a victim category. Sometimes it's okay to be normal, and a lot of the times it is definitely okay to be accountable for your own actions and words. And yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and see what the little parts of her she did on the Breakfast Club. I'm not going
Jim Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit.
Let's go.
You good?
Good morning.
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you? Stormy.
What's happening? Hey, King. How you, brother? You good? Nice to meet you. You Keys?
Got it.
Yep. This the only seat y'all got?
Automatically, this is the only seat y'all got. As soon as I heard that, I was like, I bet Lyft lawyers right now are watching this and like, okay, game on. You messed yourself up.
What you want? What you need?
There's one
A
more.
bigger chair or something.
Is she already little?
We had
That's literally a couch. She said a bigger chair and it gave her part of the couch.
That's what I'm talking about. Good. This is the accommodation.
there you go. You know,
And if I'm being honest with you, if I went to an interview and I couldn't fit into the chair, I wouldn't say anything about it because I'd be too embarrassed. But in her particular case, she's okay with being the victim. I don't think she has any shame in this fact that she couldn't fit in that chair earlier. And I'm not trying to come down too hard on her because I've seen her Instagram to where she's been working out and, you know, trying to get herself in better shape in a more natural way, it seems like. But if you're on the Breakfast Club, a very popular black entertainment national TV / radio / YouTube channel show, and you're thankful for the accommodations because you're too big, there's something wrong with that.
If you walked in and you said the chair was too small, so we had to bring the part of the sectional for you to sit in, and you said something. You said, "Now this is what I'm talking."
Oh, I said couch, so part of a sectional, which is sectionals are normally bigger than the couch. So wow.
About accommodations, right?
Yes.
Well, we live in a world that's not always going to be able to accommodate people that.
But
are
we
plus
should,
size.
though. We should because we not all the same, you know.
You see, that doesn't make any sense. We definitely shouldn't. You know, I normally ride with people when it's somewhat reasonable. I can see a point of view of it. But when I think of accommodations are not always going to be the same price. Kind of like whenever you go from a small shirt to like a triple XL shirt or a 4XL shirt or a 5XL shirt, those things use a lot more fabric, so it's going to cost a lot more. And yes, some people can just gain weight because of bad genetics. Other people gain weight because they don't have the self-discipline, or they gain the weight, they don't have the discipline and lose it. And that's why I said I applied Lizzo earlier, because at least with Lizzo, she's trying to lose the weight and she's done a great job and she looks great. You know, some of the best looking, baddest women I've ever seen are women who were bigger and lost the weight naturally by going to the gym.
I feel like we should. Like, why not? I feel like a lot of times people think that bigger people, obese, the F word people should just be in a house. When it's like, we not.
F word? What's the F word? I'm going to assume she means fat. And if she's worried about the word fat, I feel like fat would be more of a compliment. I think she'll be more concerned about, the O word, which is obese. Fat is not that bad. There are plenty of people that are called fat, that are fit, or fat that are just a little chubby. I mean, if you go to a doctor and if you're like, I don't know, like 5'7" to 5'9" and 200 pounds, you're like considered fat. Or maybe if you go like to like 220, you're considered obese. Fat should not be a bad word that she's trying to make it out to be. Obese, morbidly obese, those are the words I think she should be more sensitive of, not fat.
Yeah, the F word. I'm not.
The word that you can't say in your house, fat. You don't like it.
Oh!
I'm not saying that word.
Yeah, we don't use that word in my house either.
I thought you were talking about the gay slur. I'm like, wait, I'm confused.
No.
No.
But I just feel like it should be accommodated. Bigger people should be accommodated, just like we accommodate the LGBT community.
How is that the same?
All those other communities. I just feel like
when I hear stuff like that, all the other communities, I feel like people just talking out their ass at that point. So let's make this clear. We should have accommodations just like for the alphabet community. So let me say this. What happens when you have a morbidly obese person that is gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever? Do they get extra accommodations? And realistically speaking, I haven't seen anything with the alphabet community. I keep calling it alphabet community because I get confused with the LBGTQ. Then there's a plus and other letters in there. It's just getting too long, but it's just being gay, lesbian, or whatever does not prevent you from getting in the car, right? It doesn't physically prevent you from getting in the car. It doesn't put you in physical danger. It doesn't make you have to pay extra for anything. That's just a lifestyle that they live, right? Being obese, morbidly obese, super morbidly obese. That's not a lifestyle choice. That's something that could put other people in danger. And I'm speaking as a man who was once 400 pounds, so I have a really good understanding of this. And I understand what she was saying. Like, in one of the other videos, she said, like, in my head, I'm skinny. It's not in this, why I just cut this little clip out. And it was not the same Breakfast Club day. And I was just like, I understand that. Because when I was 400 pounds, I didn't realize that I was super morbidly obese until I went to the hospital and they told me, hey, you are super morbidly obese. And it didn't click into my head until I looked down. I was like, wow, I can't see my feet anymore. And the reason I went to the hospital because I thought I was having some type of intestinal issue. It just turned out I was just really bad up. I was constipated from really had poor diet choices I was making at the time. And, you know, I used food as a comfort to help me get through a lot of things back then. So, and plus my job was stressful too. So, couple all that together, I think when I started my job, I was like maybe 200 pounds. And then I gained almost double the weight in like in a 5-6 year time frame. It was scary. And I had to make a lot of choices to make sure I lost a good amount of weight. I didn't lose it all, but I lost a good amount of it. And so I understand what she's saying, that, you know, whenever you are coping with other things, with food and things that are not healthy for you, you kind of lose track of yourself. So you still see yourself as that skinnier person compared to who you turn yourself into. So in that sense, I can empathize with that. But whenever it's brought to your attention, you gotta be realistic of your reality and stop trying to make other people accountable for you feeling bad for the actions that you taking for yourself. Anyways, this is a quick video. That's all I want to say on this situation. If you're still watching, you know, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.